pretend real characters like famous game characters. Video games have evolved enormously, from natural movement to full-blown surroundings, as well as realistic characters that sometimes make us feel like some of the people we know in our daily lives. Today we will present some video game characters that resemble people from our real world. 1. Ellie. A few years ago, a video game, The Last of Us, was launched on the market, talking about the destruction of the Earth after a virus that turns people into zombies, but there are few people trying to survive and find a cure. These are not the only reasons. The main character in the game is like the Canadian actress Elaine Paige. The players liked the idea of controlling the famous actress for doing what they wanted. But despite the similarity between Elaine Paige and the character of the video game Ellie, in addition to the similarity in the name also, it turned out that the actress was not involved in this project from the ground and was amazed by the similarity between them and the heroine of the game until it claimed that the designers of the game has stolen its appearance. 2. John Price. John Price, a famous character in the video game Call of Duty, is a strong British Army captain and an accomplished soldier capable, but not a fictional character, as you think. There are rumors that he is built on a real person called John McLeese. John McLeese served in the British Army and participated in the Falklands War until he was part of the SAS Special Operations Squadron that stormed the Iranian embassy in London to rescue the hostages in 1980. When you see John Price in the Call of Duty series, Modern Warfare, you can see that he is the version of John McLeese, and he even has the same distinctive mustache. 3. Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is one of the most famous characters in the famous Mortal Kombat. Johnny is a movie star and martial arts expert, who entered the fight to prove he was capable of more than special effects and camera tricks. Many people believe Johnny's character is almost the real life of the film star and martial arts expert Jean-Claude Van Damme, so that the game's inventors acknowledged that the similarity between Johnny and Van Damme was undeniable. In addition to acting and martial arts, both of them like to use comedy and are not afraid to ridicule themselves. 4. Frank Tenpenny. If you are a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series, you often hate the character of Frank Tenpenny. He is a corrupt policeman who uses his power to do terrible things like drug trafficking and kidnapping people. Fortunately, he gets what he deserves. Interestingly, in real life there was a police officer who looked exactly like this character and could have been used as a model for Frank's character, Rafael Perez. He is not only like him in the form, but he was also a corrupt policeman who used to assault and abuse the suspects, stole cocaine estimated at hundreds of thousands of criminal evidence, and he committed crimes for innocent people. 5. Gordon Freeman. In the 1990s, the highly acclaimed Half-Life shooting game was launched. The hero of this game is Gordon Freeman. Unlike the heroes of the traditional characters, Gordon was initially just a quiet scientist involved in a scientific experiment, which ends badly. Over the last few years we have seen characters who are strangely like the hero of this game. For example, actor Bryan Cranston played Walter White for several years, much like Gordon. He is also a natural person who works as a science teacher but becomes a drug maker and acquires many enemies from both police and criminals. Another person who is similar to Gordon is Edward Snowden, a former U.S. intelligence analyst who is similar to Freeman in form, but also finds himself surrounded by many enemies desperate to silence him in any way possible. 6. Fuzz Montenegro. Far Cry is one of the most famous shooting games of the time. The character we will be talking about is in the third version of the game, Far Cry 3, where the game is located on tropical islands. The main objective of the game is to rescue your friends kidnapped by pirates. Fez Mina Tango is the leader of these pirates, a very evil and moody person who kidnaps tourists and tortures them. But even if Fez is defeated in the game, she will not get rid of him because there is a real person who is almost identical in formality. As you know, most of the characters in the video games are built using real people to work the voice of the character and way of movement assigned to it, in which case the same actor was used for the work of Monday, the Canadian actor Michael Mando. But in addition to providing Mando voice and movement of the character is similar to completely in shape. 7. Jonathan Irons. Call of Duty: Advanced Warfare is the one who gave us a character, Jonathan Irons, a deceitful person whose only concern is to gain power in any way possible. When this becomes clear, the player must shoot and blow a lot of things to reach him and defeat him. It is clear that Jonathan is very much like the famous actor Kevin Spacey. This is not a coincidence. This was done by masterpieces of modern motion capture technology. 8. Edward Kenway. The famous video game, Assassin's Creed, takes you to a fantasy land full of adventures. In the game version, Assassin's Creed 4, the player takes the character of the pirate Edward Kenway, who works in the Caribbean I'll kick. 9. Chun-Li. In the late 1980s, Street Fighter was one of the most fun games, with fantastic designs and an exciting story, but the game did not contain female characters. This changed in the early 1990s, when Chun-Li was introduced. She was loved by everyone, especially the girls. She was a strong and beautiful figure. Chun-Li works in the International Police and is also an expert in martial arts. When a fitness model called Natasha Inosa published its image on the Instagram, this caused a storm on the social networking sites of similarity between them and between Chun-Li. They look alike in many things, from hair to body and even in stand-by. It is impossible to argue in that Natasha Inosa is not like Chun-Li. It is a true image of Chun-Li on the ground. Now, is there anyone around you who really resembles celebrities in video games? Let's know in the comments.